You are listening to Veterans Action Report on KGRA Digital Broadcasting. I'm your host, Nick, coming to you live from St. Paul, Minnesota.
And I'm Andrew Canales, coming to you live from Evergreen, Colorado.
Every day, veterans are struggling with many issues spanning from homelessness to mental health crisis, often leading to 22 veterans a day taking their own lives. There are veterans all around the U.S. leading the fight to help guide our brothers and sisters to a better life. We will bring you stories from all around the country telling tales of veteran struggles and triumph. Every episode benefits veteran-run nonprofits Warriors Next Adventure, helping veterans fight PTSD through recreational therapy and new adventures. And Houses for Warriors, helping solve the homeless crisis, leading veterans to a better lifestyle. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 9 of Veterans Action Report. Andrew, can you believe we've already had 9 episodes?
Bro, I feel bad I haven't been a part of more. I'm so proud of you, dude. You've really hit the ground running with this show.
Thanks,
and us being, in the top 10 in the nation every week, bro, is like, it's just a testament to your hard work, man. This is everybody. This is one of the hardest working vets I've ever had the privilege of knowing and being with. Yeah, brother, it's been a good final quarter, I think, for all of us, as far as like impact and what we've been doing. And it's nice to kind of wrap up the end of the year and look forward to a new year, new beginnings. And yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time no matter what's going on in the world. It's really all about perspective, right? You remember that? Yeah. Perception is everything.
Yeah, I hated that from basic, dude. Or tech school.
Bro, so I saw a meme that was perfect this morning, actually. And it was a little kid on the first place stand. And he was looking really sour at the kid on the third place stand, who was just riled up and just so amped up. And like, he was so happy. And it really is about your perspective, what story are you telling today? And what story are you going to tell moving forward?
Well, there's a lot of people who get... I tend to have the conversation with veterans that tend to piss them off because, like I say all the time, I will not tell you what you need to hear. Or what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and some of the information that I was giving him about his situation it caused him to go instantly defensive. And so I'm like, listen, I get that you're getting defensive. I understand this stuff is not easy to hear, but you didn't reach out to me just to stroke your ego. You reached out to me because you need some help. And I'm on the outside looking in. It's a lot easier to see what the problem is when you're not the one involved in the problem. So it's
Amen. So oh my God. Why is that? Why do you think that is?
Well, because
why is it so hard to look at ourselves the way that we can look at other people? Because the way I've learned to understand it is that everyone's a mirror. The reason why I love you so much is because when I look at you, I see me, man. I see so much of me in you. I see so much of who I want to be in you. That sounded very strange. Let's
not a gay joke. No,
I don't want to be in you. I want to be in you. No, man. So you know what I mean, though. Like it's a powerful thing when you can connect with people on a deeper level, where and also it's what drives the most tension between us. I think, as a mirror, we see the things we hate about ourselves and other people.
Yeah.
It's usually the first thing.
Projecting what you don't like on other people. It tends to be one of the first things a lot of folks do whenever they're uncomfortable, especially when somebody is telling them something that pushes against their morals, which I tend to do often. And sure. I realize that a lot of times, a lot of people are playing the victim card and they don't like hearing that shit. And the only reason why I tend to call it out when I see it is because I go back and think about the times where I was at my worst. God, if I had an Andrew or a Nick telling me that I was being a dumbass, I could have skipped so much shit in my life. And so that's why, like I often tell people, my transformation from 2015 to now was a lot of work. It was a lot of realizations that I am not always right. Sometimes I was playing the victim card. I was letting, my issues and my problems take over my life. And instead of actually facing, the issues ahead of me, I was pushing them aside and playing the whole poor me shit. And when you do that, nobody wins. Nobody.
This is me looking outside, or on the outside looking in on you, man. And I'm just like, dude, you are gonna have such a good time in Colorado next
Yeah, I
month.
can't wait.
So for the audience who doesn't know what we're talking about, you are coming out to do a 3-day coaching leadership seminar,
Hell
which
yeah.
is a very intensive, 13-hour day experiential training where you get to go through exercises. I think you do over 30 exercises in the 3-day period that really point out your programs and your BS and all the stories you tell and all the victim games that you play. And you play a lot of games in the seminar, and these games will help you point out and realize like basic childhood programming that you didn't even realize. So as you're talking, specifically about the victim, game the victim program that we all have. I'm just like, oh, you're gonna love that exercise because you get to go right in and tell your victim story, and then we'll have to put some links to some like online workshops and stuff that are coming up for anyone who's not in Colorado who wants to do this stuff. Because this work is so important, man, and like you can tell
I'll put that
who's
in the show
doing the work.
description when we go to share it.
Totally. So like you can tell who's doing the work. You can tell who has done the work. You can tell when you do this work, you can see who needs it, and not necessarily I shouldn't say need it because that comes from a place of ego.
Could benefit
Um,
from it.
who could really benefit from it, who could really change their lives, who could really get out of their own way. And that was one of you and I's biggest problems is that we get in our own way a lot, and just all human beings. Um, yeah, I'm just really proud of you, man. I'm so excited to see you.
I'm excited.
Getting
I'm
a
excited to
whole
go to
week with
skate you.
Nick Rahn. Yeah, the lake is frozen over.
Nice.
They haven't brought out the Zambonis yet. We've had some warm days still, so
Yeah. Well,
it's
hopefully we
being,
can make that happen.
I think we're gonna make it happen. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good
Yeah.
time.
So for those who don't know, what's the name of the lake that we're going to?
So we're going to Evergreen Lake. It's in Evergreen, Colorado. It's about 30 minutes west of Denver. And on January 12th, pretty much all afternoon, we're going to be renting, if weather permits and if the ice is frozen enough, we'll be renting a whole little rink section for anybody who wants to come and skate. They'll be able to rent their own skates, which is the only cost that you'll have to bear, and then any snacks or food that you want to purchase at the lake, and then everyone can skate on our private rink for free. So we're going to be renting the whole section, and yeah, it's just fun. I've never skated on a lake before. It's kind of scary too. Like
I'm from Minnesota, dude. That's like it's
I
a rite of
know, sure,
passage.
that's normal. That's normal for you. So I grew up in the desert in California, bro.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like me moving to Colorado and having 4 seasons was a huge life-changing, moment for me. I didn't
Yeah.
realize like, oh, it's just like the movies. So
Yeah, here we already have pickup trucks on the ice, and people pulling their ice houses out. Man, these people are crazy. I don't touch the ice until like mid to late January.
yeah.
I'm not
No,
trying to fall through.
I'm starting to realize like winter doesn't really come until after December, like January-ish.
Yeah, well, here it's been we've gotten like 2 or 3 snowfalls. The other day it snowed like pure ice, so it was literally just pure like rain straight into ice, and so
Ugh.
there was like somewhere around like 150 crashes in the metro in like 10 hours or something like that. It was fucking crazy.
Do you guys
And
not put on snow tires in November? Like I
no,
always do it in November, dude.
well, it was
It's
pure
worth
ice
it.
though. That's the
Yeah,
difference. It was ice. It wasn't snow. It literally
yeah.
just rains pure ice, and so even if you
I
have snow
see.
tires, you can't do anything
I see.
about it.
Yeah. Oh, have you
It
seen
happens.
those crazy videos of those pileups in like Texas
Oh
last year?
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
wait, what? Texas? And there was like a 3-hour pileup where it just kept
It
going and
snowed like
going
this
and
much too.
going. I feel so bad for anybody who got hurt, and
Yeah, me too.
my
But
prayers and love go out to everyone who was in that. However,
come on,
it went on for like 3 hours, and
dude,
it
it
was
was
like
bad.
was it like hundreds of cars, right? Like I
Yeah,
wish
it
we
was
had
somewhere around like 250 cars.
I wish we had our Joe Rogan guy, like the guy that Joe Rogan has to fact check us and like pull stuff up.
I
We
can do
need
it
a
right
guy.
now. Just keep
We need a
talking.
guy.
I
Yeah,
got a
so
couple friends of mine who've offered to do some stuff like that, but I'm like, yeah, when we get there, I think it's a good idea.
I
Like
guess
Bill,
me.
our executive producer, is fantastic, but
Yeah.
he's so busy. I don't want to interrupt him with our stuff.
Well, hopefully we get to the #1 spot, and then he wants to join us and help us like just push the show so hard.
Well, he saved my ass like 2 weeks ago, two episodes ago. I don't know if you saw that, but my whole thing just failed.
Yeah,
Like,
when you were in Nebraska.
No, that was the week. That was the week after.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
no,
this is
when I was
3
in
weeks
Nebraska
ago. Okay.
in Kentucky, it actually worked out just
Gotcha.
fine.
Oh,
But
Kentucky.
what happened was I bumped my laptop. So I have my
Oh.
USBs I need to get new ones. When I bumped them, what happened is my audio went out and my camera went out. And then I had to restart my computer because it was sensing that another program was reading my camera. And so I couldn't use it on StreamYard. So I had to reboot my computer and then I had to wait for Bill to bring me back on. And I had just ended up joining as a guest. So I couldn't do any of the overlays. I couldn't do any, like, it was a pain in the ass, man.
Well,
so I'm actually going to get a second monitor over here and a tower.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So I'll have like an actual like computer instead of a laptop, and that'll be my backup. So I'll have that one on this stream as well. So I have 2 controls. If need be, all I have to do is just switch over to this camera, so I won't have to worry about that happening again.
Well, we're really grateful to KGRA for helping us out all the time, and
dude,
this opportunity.
Yeah.
Man. Like that's probably, so let's get into our little recap, because I know we had a plan going in that never really happens, just like any plan.
More of a guideline.
It's a guideline. Yeah, just something to think about if we forget what to talk about. So
what has Houses for Warriors done this year? You guys do anything?
Yeah, so we started out the year doing some construction projects, right? We did some paid projects, and it was good. We got some veterans off the street. We were able to get them some construction training. I realized that we weren't quite ready for that. I wasn't quite ready to run that and to overlook that like construction department. So we kind of like shifted the way we do things. We started working with contractors and helping veterans get grants, get donations. We would do fundraising campaigns to raise specific money for specific veteran projects. The latest project that we just funded was we just donated $60,000 thanks to a grant provided by Homes for Veterans out of New York. We were able to pay for the elevator that's going in our Army Veterans project. So you know about this, but for the audience that doesn't, we have an Army veteran, Mr. Tyler Wilson, who he's just an American hero, true inspiration. He went to Afghanistan, served honorably, and received a Purple Heart for his combat wounds. He was shot 4 times. I think it was the second shot that paralyzed him from the waist down. And when I met this guy, like I walked in and his wife was carrying him on her back walking up the stairs.
Yeah, you showed me that video, man.
Yeah, like I mean, no, it was amazing. Like I didn't see,
shit, by the way,
dude, and she is tiny. She is tiny. She probably, like, with my fragile legs, I don't know if I would be able to do that. He's a heavy guy. He's a big dude. He's a strong guy. So it was just amazing, man. She's a firefighter, of course she is, right? She obviously she can haul bodies out of fires, and save some lives. So her name is Crystal. She's amazing. She got in touch with me through Purple Heart Homes, and they had sold one of their old home, which was already renovated. So they had already kind of exhausted some of their resources. However, they didn't use their VA grant. That's the one thing I love about Purple Heart Homes. If anybody ever needs any like repair work in their homes, if anybody ever needs anything, you know, fixed that's like essential to the heat or the comfort in the home, or anything like ramps or decks, like Purple Heart Homes of USA is a national organization that provides these renovations and these repairs with 100% volunteers. And they go through Home Depot to get materials. They use Home Depot grants. They use Team Depot volunteers. And essentially every state has their own network and their own chapter, I believe, or most states. Yeah, Purple Heart Homes. I love that you can do that. I mean, you're getting good at this, dude.
Okay.
So we partner with them on a lot of homes that either they don't have any more resources, or they need more, or they need like, so let's say the veterans like Tyler who have already used Purple Heart Homes, they referred them to Houses for Warriors, because we do volunteer projects. So like I said, we were able to write that $60,000 check last month, and it'll be going towards the elevator that's being put in January. And we have Francesca from Homes for Veterans, another fantastic organization. Homes for Veterans provides two $30,000 projects every month to veterans nationally in need of major home repairs. So,
and by the way, I do have a veteran that works at the VFW down in Kentucky searching for veterans who may have lost their homes. And he recently texted me and he's like, dude, there's so many people down here that need help. Kentucky,
I know, we're working on it.
Completely destroyed down there.
We're working on it. So yeah, I mean, this show is all about recognizing other organizations that are doing it right. Team Rubicon, I know Team Rubicon was probably the first one in any of these natural disasters. They usually have a huge organization just ready to go. A huge network of volunteers ready to go on a call. So, you know, that's kind of, you know, I love that you went out to support that and to assist. Let's see, what else did Houses for Warriors do this year? We did a lot, man. We opened our first transitional home. Well, I should say our first group home. Because we're still getting our monthly donations up and we don't have enough monthly donors to sustain a home yet. We are currently charging $5.95 a month. However, that pays for rent, utilities, food. Essentially every week we do grocery shopping for them. They write a list out of what they want. We get whatever they want. And they get vouchers for the thrift store. We help them secure benefits. We help them secure housing assistance vouchers. So that, and then we also, let's see, so we got 5 veterans off the street into our group home this summer, and 3 of them are now in permanent housing.
Yeah,
2 of them.
Your videos were fantastic, by the way. You could tell how grateful they were. It was amazing.
Dude, thank you, man. Well, so 2 of them are in their own apartment. And we help those 2, like you just mentioned in that video, we help them furnish those apartments, because when these guys get off the street, they don't have anything. Yeah. And if they do,
he was living in his storage unit, wasn't he?
He was, and you know, you saw there wasn't much in there. It was just a few boxes of personal items. There was no real furniture.
That kid has an amazing heart.
Dude, and
sit down and talk to him for a while when I came to visit. He is such a good kid. I'm so happy that he got the help that he needed.
Dude, well,
if you're watching this, you're a fucking badass, man. I love you,
Zach. I love you, Zach, man. Yeah, he's you know, it's not just the safe place that we gave him. You know, we did some goal setting. You know, my chief of development. So we have one of my main volunteers, Connie Brown. She's a retired Chief Master Sergeant in the Air Force, and she also did another 16 years. I think she did 26 years in the Air Force, and then she did another 16 years in the Air Force Academy as their HR director.
Nice.
And so she is on my, like, you know, development team. And I mean, we sat down. Connie got on Zoom and sat down with all of them. I think we spent like 6 hours total talking to all of the guys about their goals, helping them set SMART goals, you know, specific, measurable, achievable. What are the other ones? Jesus. Shoot, I shouldn't have even started. Now I'm just totally screwing myself up.
Dane
So,
Bramage. It's that Dane Bramage.
yeah, Dane Bramage. I got a little bit of that Dane Bramage. It's not from the military, though, I don't think. I was never actually diagnosed with a TBI. Dude, how many veterans, man, squirrel, how many veterans are out there that have traumatic brain injuries that aren't diagnosed, man?
Took me 10 years to finally get diagnosed.
I'm realizing that. Like, there's a lot of vets out there that have the injuries that don't have the disability. You know, we got 50% of all of our veterans nationwide aren't even in the VA system. So
TBI is actually has a lot of side effects similar to PTSD and can actually cause PTSD. So a lot of people don't realize that there's a huge correlation between mental health and brain injuries. You know, Joe Rogan talks about it all the time with like CTE and football players and everything who get severely depressed.
And fighters too.
A lot of people don't realize one of the most common causes of PTSD is actually like MMA fighters. MMA fighters get out because you think about it, you're in constant combat, you're getting punched in the face, and you know, next thing you know, you're waking up and you're putting your hands up, you're defending yourself. You know, I can attest to this. I've woken up many times, you know, thinking that I was getting punched or attacked, and I put my hands up. Luckily, I never punched anybody in my sleep. But
well, not only that, but MMA fighters are all 1099 now. Like, I just saw a documentary on YouTube about how the UFC is only paying these guys like a minimum to compared to all other professional athletes, and then like they're not offering any type of medical benefits, any type of like TBI treatments.
UFC is garbage, dude.
Dude, it's garbage. I didn't know that, and I'm like, I'm glad I stopped watching it. I stopped watching it a few years ago after something shifted in me, man, and I was just like, man, I don't like watching people just beat the crap out of each other, and I guess just knowing what those brain injuries do to people and seeing, meeting a lot of vets. Like when I went through canines, the Canines for Warriors program offers service dogs for traumatic brain injuries and PTSD. Like you said, they share a lot of the same symptoms. Yeah. So these dogs are able to work in the same exact way, with no like additional training needed for either ailment. And so when I was there, I met a lot of guys with TBIs, and it was like the most I've ever been around them, like anybody with brain injuries. And I started recognizing some things that like I have. And, you know, when I got my mountain biking accident, I hit my head hard. I split my helmet, and they never did a brain scan on me. They never looked at my head. They didn't even like check out the helmet. Like, I thought that was like one of the first things they did. And they actually just took it off, and like my mom took it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the first things they should have done is check for any kind of brain trauma.
Yeah. Cause I mean, I hit my knees on this boulder. I broke my legs, flipped over, and then landed on my head, and then ended on my back. And it was, I was going like 45 miles an hour. So this is a good little shift into like health. And, you know, we were talking about that earlier. We were just talking about fighters, traumatic brain injuries. You know, as of 2021, you know, we're recapping. I'd say one of the biggest things that's changed in my life is my health. You know, I know we're talking about our organizations and updates, but I want to get into ourselves a little bit, because the more that I work on myself, the more that my nonprofit improves. 100%. That's the one biggest thing I'm noticing. Like the more traction I get, the more growth I have, the more people I'm helping, the more impact we have. Every day that I work on
a little bit about this. Personal self-development never stops. Even if you never, you know, like I said, I created this person of who Nick Rahn is, right? He was a fucking loser back in the day. The guy I am now is completely manufactured.
You're too hard on yourself, man.
It was pretty bad. But the growth never stops, and that's one thing that's important for anybody who's working in any kind of coaching and mentorship. You need to understand that if you're not dedicating some of your time to growing yourself, you are giving other people, you know, you're leaving people to a disadvantage, because you could be missing out on information or some knowledge that could actually really help you not only grow yourself, but also put things into perspective for other people. And that's one of the things that I always tell people, no matter what, always continue to grow. You know, if you tell me, well, I already did that, okay, do it again. That's the big
Yeah,
thing.
you keep
You know,
doing it.
do it again, do it again, do it again. That's the thing about life, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're never just going to be perfect. It doesn't exist. Perfection does
Yeah.
not exist. So when people are too hard on themselves, you watch Squirrel, you watch that documentary.
We got 5 squirrels going on.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
I've seen that.
So right at the beginning, it's so beautiful. If you guys get a chance, go to Netflix and watch "I'm Not Your Guru" by Tony Robbins. Absolutely beautiful the way he's able to read people. I strive to be like him. If there's any,
it's gonna be fun when you do meet. It's gonna be fun when I finally meet this guy, because you talk about Tony a lot, and we'll just have to tag him in this so that he watches and sees all of the growth that you and I are doing and all the good we're doing for others. And
I want to be the next veteran Tony Robbins. That's
one
a
of the
huge
things.
order.
Yeah, one of the things he says is you got to own it, man. You got to own the good that you do. That's I believe I've heard him say that. I've heard a lot of mentors say that and coaches say that, and it's like you have to like celebrate the good, and you know, why not shout it, and why not share it, and tell people what you're doing and inspire others. It's the only way we make
if you're going to own the negative things, you need to own the positive as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Most people are just numb to all of it, though, and so that's what like doing this work does. It just riles it up and stirs things up, and you start, man. It's been a roller coaster. You know, I quit smoking last month, so we're on the subject of health. We revert back to one of our squirrels. The audience is probably like, what are these guys? Like, I can't keep track of these conversations.
Get used to it, guys.
Welcome to our world.
Brain damage with a lot on our minds.
And a lot of plans for the future.
Man. You are one of the few people, I want to say you and like 2 other guys, I keep very close in my mastermind, because you guys have so much shit going on inside your heads. You understand where I'm coming from.
Well, I could track.
I have 40 projects going on at one time, and I'm perfectly happy and comfortable.
What's funny is like we've let's say like I've already forgotten 2 of our topics we started talking about today. However, when they pop up and something is relevant to what we were talking about, I'm gonna jump right back into that like we never stopped talking about it. And I'll be able to like, hey, remember that you were telling me I got this guy for you, and I'll connect you to
4
this.
months ago, we were talking about this.
Yeah. Well, what's cool is we're recording ourselves, so we can just rewind this thing and watch it again. Just like, so let's finish that conversation.
Well, we were recapping, 2021.
Yeah.
Houses for Warriors, and we were talking a little bit about personal development actually helps us run our nonprofits.
Yeah, the more we grow, the more our nonprofit grows. So let's talk about, one more thing that I achieved this year was I did my first 14er with Warriors Next Adventure. And I did my first outing. Thank you. And of course, I had to get involved the way that you are with everything you do. So we ended up, we got this new partnership we're starting where I'm going to do some Warriors Next Adventure stuff and help host that here in Colorado. And we are working on getting you to host some Houses for Warriors stuff and start a group home in Minnesota. And so I think that's a good kind of point to shift over to what you got going on.
Sure.
Because that kind of entails both of us, and it kind of just puts it all together, because these veterans not only need a house, they need shit to do. I hope I edited myself enough on that. They need something to do outside of the house. Mm-hmm. They need fun. So what we're doing here is we're starting our partnerships with different organizations that already have stuff going on. So there's like a organization Warrior Now that does bowling. Mm-hmm. We've got a few of those guys over there to go bowling. Once the nonprofit can support the first home, and we can be a free home, we can make these guys do stuff. We can make it mandatory to have fun. We can have a schedule for them.
Mandatory.
Because it's a program at that point. It's not them paying rent. It's free, which means like you're coming in willing to participate in this program where we force you to grow and have fun and really get on your feet, because that's what it's for. It's for the people who want it. And so Warriors Next Adventure, again, I feel like you've changed my life just getting me up that mountain, bro. I even attempted another one 2 weeks later.
Remember,
Wasn't as
you
easy.
changed your life. You did.
I did.
We just facilitated it.
You created the opportunity, though, and so again, like that's what I love about us, about you, and recognizing myself in you. Is like we both do that. We create these opportunities for people where they can do it themselves. Yeah. We don't give a hand up, or we don't give a hand out. We give a hand up, like literally. So
well, the important thing is giving people the tools necessary to be able to change their lives. And this isn't me patting my own back or anything, but I've had a lot of veterans reach out to me and tell me like, hey man, you changed my life, or like what you said changed my life. It's like, one thing you need to understand: A, you're the one who reached out to me. B, you're the one who listened to what I had to say. And C, you're the one that applied it to your life. You changed your life. All I did was open a door for you. That's all I did. And like, for those of you who, again, I'm not going to get into it again, but for those who don't know my story, is 2015, I was at my lowest low, attempted suicide. And shortly after that, I decided that the person who could have pulled that gun out of my hands didn't exist. And so I decided to create that person and become that person. And I'm big on doing it myself and then showing others how to do it. So once
that's exactly it, man. That's all you can do is you can show a horse to water. You can't make them drink. You can Morpheus can show Neo to the door. Only Neo can walk through it. Like, oh, did you see the new Matrix real quick?
Everybody hated it. I thought it was great.
Dude, I had to watch it twice before I really loved it. I mean, I watched it back to back though. It was like, awesome. Oh, dude, it was so good. I don't think people, because what it was is people don't like it because they had to show their vaccine passport to get into the Matrix, which is totally ironic.
Which is all Matrix shit.
Dude, they're literally taking a blue pill as they're walking into a movie that's supposed to red pill them.
We just bought HBO Max and watched it at home.
I did too. Well, I've had HBO Max, so I watched it at home. Yeah.
But no,
that's what I did on Christmas, bro. That was my Christmas. Yeah.
We did that Christmas Day at night.
Yeah.
We got the new Oculus Quest 2.
Oh, man, ooh. Awesome. What is that? Sounds good. Sounds fancy.
It's the VR headset, man.
Oh.
With no cables or anything. You don't have to be plugged into anything. You can just play in a big room by yourself.
So awesome. You went into the Matrix to watch the Matrix.
Well, we didn't watch it on the VR, but I'm like, we should have totally watched this on the virtual reality headset. But no, it's amazing.
Do you see how this is? Dude, this is like the total like mind freak.
But
like,
here's the thing: we have that red pill, that hack to get the fuck out of the mundane life in when everything's going on, and that's what Hauser for Warriors and Warriors Next Adventure does, is we get people out of the goddamn Matrix, right? Now, I don't think we're actually living in a Matrix or anything like that. It's a metaphor. So
I don't know. I'm willing to question. I'm willing to question it at this point because I believe they've created a matrix of illusion. Yeah. And I feel like we are living in this matrix of lies and manipulation and illusion, and those who are awake to it, not the woke, but those who are awake to it, and who are conscious, who are aware of what's going on because of being able to critically think and do research. Like,
critical thinking is one of the least. I can't believe that critical thinking isn't like a course on its own.
Well, and that's what I mean. Like they have created this matrix. It's not like a digital. I mean, some would say we are in a digital simulation. It doesn't matter. We're here. It feels real. We're live. We're living our lives. However, there is like I was saying, there's this like illusion of manipulation and lies that are creating this fake reality that there are people that are awake to it that feel like they are awake in the matrix. Like everyone is asleep. And so I feel like it is a documentary and it is a metaphor, the greatest metaphor for our reality. And I don't know, I could just be an old millennial, like one of the first millennials who watched it 1,000 times. My first job,
Matrix, man.
When I got my first job, it was at the movie theater when The Matrix came out. So I watched it in the theaters as a high school kid like 15 times.
Nice.
So tell me, where's next adventure? Let's do your recap.
Yeah.
How was your 2021, bro?
So 2021, we bit off a lot. I decided that I wanted to, yeah, I'm never gonna, I'd rather choke on, what is it? Like, I'd rather choke on greatness than survive off of, there's just some quote there. I don't know.
Oh, I want to find that one. That sounds like it'll be good.
I'm sure somebody will type it in the comments.
Yeah.
So, which, by the way, I haven't actually said it yet during the show. You can text 612-467-9489. That is our Google Voice number for Veterans Action Report. So anybody can text that during the show, and what we'll do, we'll be answering it, and we'll be pretty much chatting live. I will warn you, this is a pre-recorded episode just because me and Andrew are going to be busy on Wednesday.
We will still answer you.
Yeah, so. I will be monitoring, and I will be. I can't comment on Facebook because I've been banned again.
Oh, might have to give you. I might have to just give you my login and let you comment from Houses for Warriors.
Dude, it's so annoying.
Yeah,
I have a veteran who's going to be monitoring, but if you guys text that,
we survived. That's another thing. We all survived the censorship in 2021. We are still being broadcasted. We know how to speak now. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows the new way to talk.
Well, they're catching up on me.
We have code words, like national code words for funny political sayings. It's funny, man. This world has gone to just retarded. That was a bad word. This world has gone. Well, in the purest sense of the word, we have retarded ourselves as a society. We have gone backwards. We have.
If you look at the definition of the word,
the definition of the word, we have like stunted our growth as society, and
we need to go back.
We're living this Gilbert's grapes.
We bit off a lot for 2021. I decided that. Jiu-jitsu is a big portion of Warriors Next Adventure. We team up with We Defy Foundation. I partner with a lot of organizations. I'm actually athlete engagement mentor for We Defy Foundation. For you, those of you who don't know who We Defy Foundation is, they're fantastic. What they do is, if you're 80% or more disabled, they will pay for a year's worth of jiu-jitsu. I think they give you 2 free gis. Don't quote me on that. It's either 1 or 2. And they will give you a belt as well. And then you have a mentor, which is what I do. And I reach out to all of my jiu-jitsu guys once, twice, 3 times a week, a month. And then I just check on them, make sure they're doing okay. And so we partnered up. I'm like, you know what? There's so many veterans out there who have told that story. Jiu-jitsu saved my life. Jiu-jitsu saved my life is so well known in the jiu-jitsu community, but nobody's ever told a story about it. And so I'm like, I know jiu-jitsu really helped me turn my life around. It actually is the reason why I quit drinking back in 2014. If you go to my Instagram, Nick Explores Everything. If you scroll down 2014, I have a transformation photo from 2014 to 2016 where I was fat and I had a gut, like me fat. Like I had a big old gut and I was just a fat, flabby.
Tall fat.
Well, I was like 210 and no muscle because I didn't lift weights. Yeah. So I was just a fat tub of lard. And so personally, I didn't want to be like that anymore. And I missed jiu-jitsu because I quit MMA for a while. Because we won't get into that because I don't want to shame anybody. And I decided to quit because of outside persuasion, and I listened and I'm stupid. In 2014, I'm like, you know what? I need to get back into jiu-jitsu. And I started losing weight. I started getting in shape. Next thing you know, in 2016, there's a photo crop side by side of me in the cage, like just ripped with a 6-pack and fucking just jacked. And jiu-jitsu's done a lot for me. I was a fighter too, but it was all jiu-jitsu. I wanted to be the best jiu-jitsu fighter in Minnesota. And in 2018, I was ranked number 5 in the state. So, I mean, like I did what I set out to do. I fought for a title. I did all these amazing things. And if it wasn't for jiu-jitsu, the main quote of the documentary is jiu-jitsu woke up the champion inside of me.
You haven't mentioned the documentary yet. So let's talk about that. So you just jumped into it. People are like, documentary? What is he talking about?
Yeah. So back in 2007 is when I started, and everybody made fun of me, and I felt like such a pussy, and I was such a loser, and I always got mad. But jiu-jitsu eventually got me to the point where I was like, okay, I'm okay. And it slowly started to get me out of my bullshit. So I decided to film a documentary called PTSD versus Jiu-Jitsu. And we traveled around the country for 46 days or something like that. And we went to about 35 different locations. The bus broke down about 25 times. We rented a short bus. We called it the Warrior Wagon, but we are going to rename that the Struggle Bus because of how many times that thing broke down. It was
actually,
obnoxious.
bro, it should really be the little bus that could.
No, we've already decided we're naming it the Struggle Bus because we're
don't give it a negative name. I don't think you should. I don't think you should give it a negative name because
it's hard
like
done,
you guys did a lot with that thing. Like you kept that thing going. Every time I thought, I was like, oh shit, he's done. Oh, there's no way he's. I believed in you. I was like, there was this voice in my head that was going, how is he gonna do that?
Everything,
and you know what?
Everything. I fixed it all.
Watching you do that taught me something that I didn't even realize until now. It really is all about the who, not how. I mentioned that book last time, and I'm still reading it, and I'm really starting to understand it because it was the people that you had behind your corner that were able to step up and donate when you needed it, fixing the car,
day one. We blew.
I know. I remember.
And we had $5,700 donated to us, which Deborah and Ryan Van Housen. I'm sorry, guys, I can't say your fucking name. They personally, from her real estate company, donated $2,000 because that was the last $2,000 that we needed to get the bus fixed. And then we made it, I think, 12 hours before the bus started on fire.
I don't even think you made it that far, bro. I think it was like 8.
Like everything that could go wrong went wrong, but it was amazing. And that bus was actually like a symbol of, what exactly I was filming this documentary of, and it's overcoming adversity. And like I said, like I'm not even lying, we broke down 25 times.
I know
the engine blew, and I couldn't fix that. But every other time I fixed it until we got to Orlando.
By the 10th time, I thought you were joking. I was like, "There's no way he's serious." Like,
100% serious. Ask anybody who rode with me. They're like, "Yeah, we literally slept on the side of a highway because the starter went out one night." It was bad, man. But we got to Orlando, and the bus, it blew again. The flex plate broke, and so we have to fix that. I dropped it at my friend Chad's house. I flew back to Minnesota, drove to Orlando in my truck, and I finished the tour in my truck. Now, we connected with probably about 3,000 veterans on that trip. And everybody who I met on that trip, if you're listening, I miss you guys. I met so many people. I can't remember everybody's name, but I had so many amazing conversations with everybody that was on that tour. And the documentary coming out, I'm hoping July. There's going to be some stories on there. And everybody who listens to this documentary will cry, 100%. This isn't like a hoorah, military kill. It's not one of those. It's supposed to trigger the emotions of what veterans go through when they get out of the military, and how jiu-jitsu can actually help you find your way.
And all while you're going through it too, with the truck and with the bus, with your
bus breaking
missing
down.
Your tours, missing your stops. Like,
yeah, I missed like 7 stops. But I'll be flying out to South Carolina in, looking at my calendar,
You're gonna go fill those gaps and finish the shoot. Yep. And do, it's good, man.
South Carolina, Arizona, and Montana.
You just mentioned something too. Like, that's the big thing about this work is you meet so many amazing people that it's really hard to keep track of everybody. Yeah. Even with a CRM and like, having like a database and stuff, it's like there's no way to really. Like, I wish I could connect with everyone on this deep level, like the way that I do with some of my volunteers and some of the veterans that I work with. And I mean, I've served like a fraction of the amount of veterans you've helped because it's slightly different ways of serving. Yeah. And being a part of WNA now, I feel like I'm going to get that chance. And I also see that, that's one of the hardest parts is not being able to connect with everyone, because there's so many beautiful people out there that really want to get involved and really support this. And
Well, the big
They
thing for
have
me is
everyone has a story.
yeah. The big thing for me is really helping somebody see what their big issue is. Like what is the elephant in the room that they can't see, right? You just gotta just turn their head. Oh, it's right there. And that's essentially what I like to do is help people see, what the problem is, because you cannot fix a problem if you don't know what it is. And that's why we
You
do
can't
stuff
get
like
to B unless you know point A.
yeah. And so like that's why we do the mountain climb. Like you got to see kind of what we do on this mountain climb, right? We talked at the beginning, what do you want to get out of this? What do you want from this? You weren't there the first night. You ended up meeting us up in did you meet us in Denver? Or did you meet
I
us out
met you in
in
the cabin. I
at the
met you at
cabin?
the
Okay,
cabin.
that's right.
Yeah. I
So what
didn't
we
go to
do
the
is we
jiu-jitsu night.
okay. Usually what we do at the beginning of this, because it's a program, right? It's not just a mountain climb. We
Yeah.
talk about like what do you want from this trip? Like what are you gaining from this trip? And then while we're climbing the mountain, we're always talking like, what are some of the hard things that you've been experiencing?
Because you bring veterans from out of state. That's the cool thing that you do that I thought was awesome is that you bring people to Colorado.
I give people the
So
opportunity. It's a
yeah,
fundraising lottery. So what we do is
yeah.
whenever we have the date released, what we'll do is the first 5 people to raise $500 or more will either get to choose a veteran. If you're not a veteran, you get to choose a veteran to go to Colorado, or you yourself can go to Colorado, all expenses paid. The only thing we ask you to bring money for is just like extra food and stuff. We do go to like a sports bar once or twice. We do not pay for alcohol. We don't push alcohol. We try to tell people, try to make it a sober trip if you can. But I'm not your daddy either. We're all adults. So I just tell people to keep a clear head.
It was nice
really
everybody being sober. Honestly, it was with that kind of like the level of activity that we were performing at with like the mountain climb and the altitude. You shouldn't be drinking. Like
No.
it's not a weekend to be drinking anyway.
That's not good for you.
It really wasn't. And so it was I enjoyed everyone being clear and the conversations that I had. Like I made really good friends with Matt and he's come back to hang out. We're
Yeah, it was funny. I just called you the other day and Matt
keeping in
was
touch.
with you. That's cool.
Yeah. So it's like, I can see how this, like many other programs, is able to create these lasting, long-term relationships, these long-term friendships that really, because I mean, achieving something as big as a 14er, like it is hard. You have to be in shape.
I remember right when we were right below the peak, you're like, man, I don't know. And I'm like, come on, let's go. And I just kept
there were a couple moments where I was a little scared for my dog too. Like, I'm like, can she do this? Can I do this? And she kept me going too. Like, it was really cool. Like between you and the dog, I was, and Mara was the big one. She was the pack leader. I feel like just getting us all up.
She did pretty well. I was proud of her.
Yeah.
It was nice having her along too, because she's a drug addiction counselor, and having that additional resource is super helpful. So like for listening, my girlfriend Mara came with, and she's a drug addiction counselor, and so veterans tend to struggle with drug addiction, alcohol, drugs, and I figured it'd be nice for you to come with, because there's a couple guys that you could talk to, and they could probably gain something from your knowledge, But it's beautiful seeing everybody come together. And we all just kind of sat at the top of the hill.
Yeah, we split into a couple groups for different paces and stuff. However, like everyone stayed pretty close. Where like you would catch up and wait while people were on breaks and stuff. And
Tyler kept looking back at me, just shaking his head like, "I hate you. I hate you. Yeah. This sucks. I hate this." And then afterwards, he calls me. Right. Most veterans have the same loop, right? I hate you. I hate you. We get down the mountain the next week. They're like, dude, that was amazing. That changed my life.
Yeah. Well, and like with me, it was really personal because we had the same job, same career, same. I felt like when I was a carpenter, when I got out of the military, I was in the best shape of my life. Man, I was strong. I was rock climbing 5 days a week, and then I break my legs, and like literally thought I would never do anything like that again for a long time. I let the doctors like really tell me that, and I believed it. And so to be able to do that, man, and to just like tell the voice in my head to shut the heck up, and to keep putting one leg in front of the other, and like just ignore the pain. It's the pain's okay. It's okay, and just tell myself different things. I think that's one of the biggest tools that we have as human beings, is the power to control what we listen to in our minds.
100%.
You don't have you do not have the control of what's said in your mind. However, you do have the control of what you listen to and what you tell that voice. You tell that voice to shut the hell up, keep moving, just like when we were in the military. It's weird how we lose that for a while, or a lot of us do, and we let ourselves.
You lose your drive, you lose your way.
I think we lose our self-respect, because if we respected ourselves, we would listen to ourselves and be able to, take the action we need. So
well, hey,
I don't know. That's what I felt. Yeah, we got to wrap it up.
We're gonna wrap it up here. I just want to tell everybody real quick. All of these shows are going to be downloadable on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon. It looks like most of our downloads are coming from iHeartRadio, which is awesome. We air live on iHeartRadio and Spotify, but you can also go back and upload it. I upload it to Libsyn, which distributes it for me. Again, you can go to iHeartRadio, you can go to Spotify, you can go to Houses for Warriors, Warriors Next Adventure, Veterans Action Report, KGRA, Digital Broadcasting, Facebooks. It'll be on there, as well as YouTube. Oh, where did Andrew go? All right, well, I guess I'll finish myself. So again, thank you guys for listening. Thank you, KGRA Digital Broadcasting. Every week we do much better. Last week we were number 7 in the ratings. There you go, bud.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
We were number 7 in the ratings last week, and we continue to grow. We're going to continue to bring you guys amazing guests. Next week we have on Hick Strong. Beautiful story. It's a husband and wife lost their son to suicide while he was active duty in the Navy, and they started Hick Strong. And they essentially, what they do is they'll connect veterans to mental health care while they're waiting to get into the VA. It's an amazing program. These guys are awesome. I met them when I was in New York. I can't wait. Go ahead and check out warriorsnextadventure.com. You can donate just right on the page. And you can also go to Houses for Warriors. You guys got a donate button right on the front page, right?
We do, and we'll have to work on getting a joint button for the show that'll go to both organizations.
I have the Patreon info.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
You can check it on Patreon. It's patreon.com/veterans_action_report, or just go to Patreon, type in Veterans Action Report. You can also go to Warriors Next Adventure. Veterans Action Report has a tab on there, and there's a donate button and a Patreon button that'll go directly to that Patreon. So nice. I appreciate you coming on the show, Andrew. Let's move over to Patreon.
Dude, yeah, definitely. And so just really quick, everybody definitely check out Patreon, because we're going to keep talking for another maybe half hour, and all of our bonus content, all of our uncensored and unfiltered conversation goes on there. So
we're not
definitely check it out
on that one, so we can talk.
We can say whatever we want.
Yeah. Dude, I've had so many people like, man, listening to you on that radio show is weird because you're like not swearing all the time. I'm like,
you're doing really good, man. I'm proud of you. We only dropped a few S's and F's, and it's good.
All right, we got to roll, guys. Thank you so much.
Perfect.